You make me happy, whether you know it or not. We should be happy, that's what I said from the start. I am so happy, knowing you are the one that I want for the rest of my days. For the rest of my days, you're all of my days. You're looking so cool, you're looking so fly. I can't deny that when I'm staring you down and dead in the eye. I wanna try to be the person you want, the person you need. It's hard to conceive that somebody like you could be with someone like me. I'm happy knowing that you are mine. The grass is greener on the other side.
Alright, here I am with Brock Gelfie. Thank you for doing this with me.
No problem.
Brock, how would you describe your level of happiness?
You know, I would describe myself as a pretty happy guy. I always try to find some good in every situation, and I think that's kind of a key part to my happiness. But you know, there's better days than others, but I think everyone has those.
What do you think is the key to having a higher overall level of happiness in general?
You know, I think it's basically how you look at life. I mean, there's things that you can control and you can't control. Mm-hmm. So I think that, like, you make the most of things you can control, and then you have to almost accept things that you can't control and try to make the best out of situations.
So you think optimism and positive thinking are important factors to being happy?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, those are important factors, and then I also think that having good relationships with your family and your friends and try to make it the best of those relationships too is important to finding happiness.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember any specific time where you were especially happy?
You know, one time comes to mind. Actually this summer, we were in California, and I think the thing that makes me most happy about that is I'm in a condo with my family and my close friends, and it's just time to, like, get to know my family better and hang out with my friends. And I think it was a good balance between, you know, my family and my friends, which is sometimes hard to obtain back in Arizona.
Yeah, so you'd say relationships are another important factor to happiness?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I think maintaining and making new relationships is probably, you know, the key to happiness.
So what do you think would be your single greatest source of happiness? You've mentioned a couple things already.
Yeah. Well, I've mentioned relationships and then just being optimistic. Mm-hmm. But, you know, if I had to choose something else, I'd have to be probably setting and achieving goals. Mm-hmm. You know, whether it be schoolwork or on the athletic field, there's always, like, some way to measure your how you're doing and your success, and I think that it's important to you know, always set new goals and always try to, you know, achieve the best that you can achieve and reach your potential.
So would you describe happiness as being multiple factors that's leading to it, or would you say there's one single thing that's more important than others?
Well, I would say there's probably like 3 or 4 things that are more important than the other ones, but I think it's also the little things that really contribute to making you happy. Like, whether it's, you know, spending time with your family is probably a big one. Looking at the world with optimism is another big one. And then, of course, reaching and obtaining goals and setting them. And then just, like, as I said, the little stuff makes you happy. I mean,
do you think it's important to have a hobby or something that you're really passionate about? Do you think that's important to happiness?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, I guess everybody is different, but I feel like you have to, there's always school, and then you have so much going on in your life, but I feel like there'd be almost a void without, like, something that you really love, besides family and school or your job or whatever. But, yeah.
Now, why do you think so many people struggle to be happy?
You know, I think a lot of people set unrealistic goals for themselves, and when they don't reach that goal, they're disappointed. Where, like, you know, not everybody can be, like, a millionaire, and then there's also people who have everything and they think that, like, that's the key to having happiness, that once I get, you know, make my first $1 million that I'll be happy. but they don't really pay attention to the other aspects of really becoming happy. They don't concentrate on relationships. They don't spend time doing their hobbies, and I think that's really detrimental to their happiness.
Yeah. So do you have any like one tip that you think would help people be happier in general?
You know, I think it's just, I mean, I feel like a lot of people set goals, and although some are unrealistic, there's a lot of people who set realistic goals for themselves and set new ones. But I think the biggest one is probably being optimistic and seeing the world through like almost a happy kind of sense, and just living life to the fullest.
All right. Thank you, Brock. Appreciate it.
Pleasure's all mine.
All right, Mom, thanks for being here. How would you describe your level of happiness?
I would say most of the time I'm very happy.
Care to expand on that?
I think I enjoy each day and what it brings.
Why do you think you are so happy in general?
Well, I think I appreciate the little things in life, and I place large importance on enjoying life. I feel like life is short, and I think it's important to enjoy what you can. And I believe most situations that you're in, even when they're bad situations or not fun situations, you can find a way to take that sting away and make it more of a happy experience.
How would you go about taking that sting away to make it a happier experience?
Well, sometimes if I'm in a frustrating situation that's, obviously frustrating, everyone else is getting grumpy around me, I would feel like might as well say, hey, what the heck, and either use that wasted time to start a discussion with somebody or talk about something interesting, or just find a way to alter the situation, make it positive.
Okay. Now you hinted at earlier appreciating the little things. What do you mean by the little things in life?
Well, just small details in our world that are easily overlooked that are so awesome. I can get really excited about seeing things grow in my garden, or just hearing fun music, or playing with my pets, or spending time with my children or my husband.
Do you think being passionate about hobbies is important to happiness?
I do, because a lot of times if you're having trouble in other areas of your life, you always have your hobby that you're good at and you enjoy, and that's a nice way to spend time. And also, I have found when I have times alone, or times where I have nothing else to do, or maybe other people have fun things to do and I don't, I can always enjoy doing my hobbies. Never get bored.
So, what would you describe as your greatest source of happiness?
I think happiness comes from inside, and I've told you many times, my grandmother always said, you can be as happy as you want to be. I always thought that was a good point. You can get crabby about things, or you can just decide to be happy. And then my father always said, you win more bees with honey than vinegar, which is an old-fashioned statement, but I always believed that by being cheerful and friendly and nice to other people, good things come to you.
Can you remember a particular time where you were especially happy?
Well, the happiest ever, I would say, would be probably my marriage and the birth of my 3 children. Those are pretty amazing situations.
Why do you think so many people struggle to be happy?
That's a good question. I think part. I'm stumped on that one. I do think life can be really challenging. I think people have a lot of things, and our world is going faster and faster that they have to deal with. And I do think you have to put effort into being happy. A lot of times, or during times in my life where I remember being most either sad or lonely, I remember almost telling myself to pretend to be happy or pretend to do something fun, and then it would come around.
So you think positive outlook would be one tip you could give to someone who may be unhappy?
I view it like a game. Take a negative situation or a crabby person and challenge yourself.
Mm-hmm. So would you describe optimism as being one of the biggest keys to happiness?
Yeah. No, I think optimism is important. You're kind of leading me here, but I do think optimism and hobbies do create happiness.
Well, sadly, what would you describe as the single most important factor in being happy, if you had to pick one?
I think attitude. So I guess that's optimism.
All right, thank you, Mom.
Always a pleasure.
The more I think, the more I wish that we could lay here for hours and just reminisce. Ooh. You're looking so fresh, it's catching my eye. Why did I not see this before? The girl I adore was right in front of me. And now I'll take a step back and look in your eye and ask why it took so long to see we're meant to be. I'm happy knowing that you're on mine. The grass is greener on the other side. The more I think, the more I wish that we could lay here for hours and just reminisce on the good, the bad, the ugly, the smiles, the laughs, the funny, all the things we put each other through.